Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your mowers have practically built themselves. Folks, it's Mad Dog Merv. Welcome to today's show. And today we are going to look at my USS Lexington CV-2 as it would have appeared at the time of the Battle of Coral Sea. The kit from Trumpeter came out in the early 2000s and isn't a bad kit. There's a couple of fit issues. Of course, the hull and the around the waterline area is atrocious. And a few little inaccuracies here and there. I had to do a few enhancements, if you will, to make this a little bit more accurate for the time period I was going after. It's still not 100% there. And by any stretch of the imagination, it's not finished as far as all the photo etch and all the rigging and stuff. Keep in mind, I'm not a ship builder. Those guys that do these 350 scale ships, and that's all they do instead of cars and tanks and figures and all the other stuff that I do as well, they're really dedicated and they do great work. And they'll spend months and months and months and months and months and months on these projects where, for me, I'll spend a few weeks and then at some point I kind of lose interest, move on to other things, and have to come back years and years later. So today we're going to look at my CV-2 Lexington Coral Sea outfit, and we're going to learn a little bit about one of the Medal of Honor recipients that came from the state of Utah, that was born here and got his Medal of Honor in this action at Coral Sea. So stick with Mad Dog Merv as we look at the Lady Lex CV-2 in 1/350th scale, built by me.
Give you a quick history on the Lexington. She was commissioned into the U.S. Navy in December of 1927. She was 36,000 long tons and had a length of 888 feet, a beam of 107 feet 6 inches, and a draft of 32 feet 6 inches. And at the time of her loss, she had a complement of 2,791 personnel. Here is a great picture of her taken during the Battle of the Coral Sea, where she's wearing measure 21 camouflage. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this guy, born in Storrs, Utah. His name was William Hall. And I had a friend whose father actually knew him fairly well, and my friend remembers a little boy going over to his house. He was born in Storrs, Utah in 1913. I built this model of his Wildcat, his Dauntless, that he flew off of the Lexington. So his Medal of Honor citation reads as follows: for extreme courage and conspicuous heroism in combat above and beyond the call of duty, as pilot of a scouting plane in action against enemy Japanese forces in the Coral Sea on 7 and 8 of May 1942. In a resolute and determined attack on 7th of May, Hall dived his plane at an enemy Japanese aircraft carrier, contributing materially to the destruction of that vessel. On the 8th, facing heavy and fierce fighter opposition, he again displayed extraordinary skill as an airman and the aggressive spirit of a fighter in repeated and effectively executing counterattacks against a superior number of enemy planes, in which 3 enemy aircraft were destroyed. Though seriously wounded in this engagement, Lieutenant J.G. Hall maintained the fearless and indomitable tactics pursued throughout these actions, succeeded in landing his plane safe. Now, I've tried to do more research on this gentleman, and I've come up with very, very little other than, like I said, a friend of mine who has now passed away. His father had known, they called him Billy Hall, here in Salt Lake City, knew that he was a Medal of Honor recipient, and I guess he had red hairs from what I was told. Anyway, I've also been led to believe that during the Battle of Coral Sea that it may have been friendly fire because he was trying to fight off these oncoming Kates and Zeros and Vals, and that it may have been some friendly fire that struck his aircraft. In fact, it was after the Battle of Coral Sea that all red was taken off the U.S. insignia markings throughout all U.S. theaters of war. And part of it was because it is said that his Dauntless was actually shot up by one of the U.S. destroyers that was screening, and he lost part of his foot was lost in this action. This picture is labeled as a Japanese aircraft over one of the U.S. destroyers. But I've been told by somebody who actually analyzed this photo in a different resolution that this is actually a Dauntless, and it's rumored to be Billy Hall's plane flying over one of the U.S. tin cans. Well, anyway, back to the Lexington. The Lexington was hit first by 2 torpedoes on the port side towards the front, and then it was hit by 2 bombs, one in the stack, the funnel, and then one up on the flight deck. And here's a picture of it during the bombing attack, and you can see where the funnel has been hit and some of the damage from that bomb hit on the funnel. Great picture of the Wildcats. And here is the one on the flight deck. A really good picture of that. A couple of different pictures that exist of that area and that damage that knocked out one of the 525 guns there on the front port side. And here's some torpedo damage. A great picture of that as well. So that's not what sunk the Lexington. Actually, it was some aviation gas, apparently, that flashed off, and huge, gigantic explosion caused a lot of fires internally, and finally she was left to, well, she was sunk. So let's look at my build. This one I did about 20 years ago. It's been sitting out in the doghouse since. I did a little bit of photo etch on it, and this fell off of this shelf. You can see some of the broken pieces from when it fell. It actually survived very well, this 5 feet fall.
All right, we're going to do our best to do a walk around with this crappy camera. So bear with me, folks. We'll start out here in the stern area. Now, yes, there's problems with the aircraft because I used some of the pre-decorated aircraft, excuse me, as well as some of the kit aircraft. And there is definitely a difference. And I did run out of decals for the tails on some of them. So, yeah, that's why we've got such a... Yeah, they're not good. They're just kind of here as a... Well, yeah, it had some devastators on it. So, for the 525s, which, again, I can't zoom in real close. But for the 525s, these are actually a white metal piece that came with my USS Houston, and I can't remember who even made that, if that was a Iron Shipwright or who that was from years and years ago. But they're actually pretty decent 525s. I have the 3D printed and photo etched ones that I can use on this, but I'm choosing to use those on a different project. The railings and such came from other projects. My photo etch railings. None of this is from the set that actually belongs to this. I never did get a photo etch set for this. And my 20 millimeter Bofors, I eventually will change those out, but they came from, I want to say they're the kit piece with some shields that I put on them. These 1.1s, I'm not sure where they came from. They are a plastic, and they're actually pretty good. They might be from my, I'm not sure what they're from, but they're actually not too bad, so I went ahead and used them, but they are not from this kit either. I used my new photo etch bending tool to bend the railings on these stairs, and got these stairs again from my spare parts box. And also the ship's boats here that have the cradles for them. I got those from my spare parts box as well. And you can see the barrels they've been knocked off on these 20 millimeters. So I definitely need to replace them. And I am missing a piece here that I'm not sure where it went, but recently it was there, now it's not. So flight deck was really dusty. I washed it the best I could, brushed it down. It still doesn't look fabulous, but there you go. I used a wash of Larry's bath water here on the around the elevator area, so you can see the details kind of popped out a lot better. Now, one thing that I did add that you won't see pretty much anywhere else is the ship's bell. These are actually some that I have left over from I think either an Arizona or a Nevada kit that I got. I think it's from the Nevada that I got through Iron Shipwrights, the Commander series, resin. But what I would like to use, and I've used on other projects, are from Model Monkey. I had some here, and, well, wouldn't you know it, I lost them. They were sitting right here on the desk. I had put them aside knowing I'd need them on the project, and sure enough, I go to use them and they are gone. So I've ordered more from Model Monkey. They're inexpensive. You get 7 of these bells for $5, and then you got to pay for shipping. So you buy a few other things and it makes it worthwhile. But used my chrome Molotow liquid chrome for the lenses on the searchlights. And eventually I will get a photo etched CXAM radar, but for now this is just the kit one that came with it. So one thing you might notice is the subtle tonal variations on the island. Now hang on here. Some even more pronounced here on the side of the ship. Now what I did for degaussing cable, which did not come with the kit, is I just used thread. So this is for the Battle of Coral Sea. It's very prominent. You can see it in pictures. You can see that it had the degaussing cable. And then, like I say, this is just thread. I used, I think, white glue to attach it most of the places. And a couple places it's kind of sagged a bit, which is okay. Anyway, so the fading. What I did is I used the old, I want to say it was Model Master, but it might have even been some old Flowquill, because remember I painted this probably close to 20 years ago when this stuff was available. So here's the 5N from whoever this was, Polyscale. And what I had done is I had added a little bit of light gray to some of it after I had painted my base, and then just airbrushed some little streaks. Kind of gives it that weathered look. I like it. I don't know if it's something that you guys like, but anyway, I like how that turned out. Now on the nameplate, I have lost the one that came with the kit. So I just took some stock styrene. This is my ruler, but give you some idea, just some stock styrene. And I used some letters that I purchased from Amazon. And here you go. I can't remember how much they were. They were under $10, and you get 2 of these trees here. And I used that. They're for what do they call it? They're for like a little sign that you can change the letters and whatnot. I want to say it's velvet, but felt signboard. Anyway, I just cut off the backs of those, made sure that it was all smooth, super glued it on. Painted this with a gunmetal Here it is. Metallic dark metal from Krylon. And then after that was dry, I dry brushed it with some of the gold leaf from Tamiya. And I happened to have these figures that I had purchased off Amazon some time ago, and I just put them there. I thought they'd be fitting. This is just something temporary I have to lift this up high enough so it can sit on the shelf properly. I am working on a solution to lift it permanently. So just kind of never mind that for now. It'll help sit on the shelf and not break things. Now looking at this side of the carrier, looks like I have lost a anchor somewhere. Huh, interesting. They just tend to fall off. I don't know why. Maybe it's the way I handle it. I just don't know, but I've got plenty of anchors, so I'll get one put back on there. Can see there's a lot of dust that is left over on this. Even though I tried to clean it the best I could, there's still a lot of dust from sitting out here for, good 15 plus years in the in the dusty old doghouse. Again, I added one of the photo etch ladders there versus the one that came in the kit. Let me show you the ones that came in the kit, because I have not put the photo etched ones on here yet. So there you go. That's what comes in the kit. This 1.1, I tried to add some barrels, some little brass barrels, and that didn't work out real good. So I do need to get some better 1.1s and put on here eventually. But you'll notice there's very little photo etch that I have done. Would I like to do more? Yeah, at some point. But honestly, I'm not a shipbuilder per se. To build a ship like this properly, it's going to take you months, if not years, okay, to do it properly. Definitely months. And I just don't have that kind of attention span anymore, where I used to at one point in my life. When I built the USS Utah, that took a whole year, and putting several hours in a week, I just don't have that in me anymore. So I build it to a point, and this is the point I've got it at now, where I can display it and enjoy it and look at it and see that it has some details on it, but definitely need to replace some of the components on here, add some more photo etch, and obviously some more rigging. But for now, it's done again for a few more years. I like it. I like how it turned out. I like the shading. And I think the bells do definitely add to it, although they're a little bit bright. They really need to be toned down a little bit with maybe a little bit more silver in them, because they're a little bit too shiny and bright. And at this point in the war, you didn't want things to be shiny and bright, so probably put a little silver on them and tone them down here at some point. But anyway, there you go. That is where we are at on my USS Lexington.
And I actually need to move that ship's bell that's aft. I need to move it down one level and forward just a little bit. So we'll fix that. And there you go. Hope you liked it.